If you're anything like me, you also have a lot of games in your Steam library that are just not being touched. So this is a series about me going through those games. Which ones are good? Which ones are bad? Which ones you should avoid? And which ones you should definitely play right now. We went through 3 episodes, and they were pretty positive, but they can't all remain positive. It kind of seems like the catchphrase for this show has been, "It wasn't what I was expecting," and it had this very floofy butterfly rainbow thing attached to it that just felt good and positive and wholesome, and wow, what a surprise! But today, it wasn't what I was expecting. And it's not good. There's a giant rain cloud above my head and it won't stop raining. It's full of pain, anguish, inventory management, and trees. Lots and lots of trees. But enough of that. My name is SOAL. Welcome to my backlog. I want to start off this video by saying that I went into this game with really high expectations, and that may have been my downfall. I've had Darkwood on my Steam wishlist for a couple years now, and it was included in one of my Humble Bundle's choice months, so I was actually really excited to play it because I'd been wanting to for a long time. And since I started this series, I figured, well, this is a great excuse to actually start playing it. Let's begin by stating this. The game isn't bad. It's well made. The controls are responsive, the combat, while clunky at times, feels okay, and the atmosphere in the game is actually really phenomenal. I personally just had a bad time, and this is 100% on me. So the game has a prologue that kind of introduces you to the situation at hand, and you start as a doctor in a house who's going on about something in the darkness. Whatever's lurking out in the dark is very, very bad, and basically humanity is in the toilet. No one can escape this hell of a forest, and all of the roads are apparently blocked, and there's basically no way out. I spent about 10 minutes rummaging around through cabinets and various things to pick up items before heading outside to see a dog that looks like it's been chewed through. That's a great start. It tells me that I should put him out of his misery, but my animal-loving ass definitely was holding out hope that there was definitely a way to save him later on. I have an axe in hand, and I cut through a tree and realize very quickly that items in this game will not last very long whatsoever. The game said it was unforgiving and challenging, but phew. I'm running around aimlessly through the woods, and I stumble upon a person laying in the fetal position, in better shape than my dog, but not by much. He's holding a key marked 21, which for some reason is so intriguing to me, but I digress. So the doctor picks this guy up to bring him back to the house, and I'm assuming this man is going to help us get out of this forest. We just need to make him better, right? Wrong! Cut to this doctor tying this guy up to a chair, calling him a rat, being a complete dick, and talking about some lady's voice he hears to compel him to do things, I guess. Doctor guy is mega upset and basically tortures this guy to find out where the exit is. The guy eventually escapes from the chair when the doctor leaves, and, well, surprise! You are the guy being tortured for information. You realize quick that this doctor is not a man of the people. He's one of those human experiment types. Corpses turned into radio beacons and such. You're eventually consumed by the creatures in the darkness, and bam! The game actually starts. And to be honest with you, at this point, I actually forgot that I was playing a prologue. So we wake up in a completely different house, and now we can actually start trying to mount our escape from this wretched forest. So I go. Leave the house, walk the forest, and hope for the best. I said this at the beginning, but this completely nails the atmosphere. It's 100% the best part of the game. No joke. So I walk, and I walk, aimlessly walking, trying to find any clue to where I need to go next. A map keeps updating in the corner every time I find a location of interest, but that's really all I have to go on at this point. And here's my biggest issue with the game. I feel like I'm walking a spooky forest with no end goal for an eternity. If they did this on purpose to evoke the actual emotions these characters are supposed to be feeling, well, they nailed it. It feels endless. I'm gathering supplies, just trying to make sense of what it is I'm supposed to do. Every item I picked up and everything that I crafted felt so useless. And the torches I was crafting lasted such little time that I just never used them, unless I absolutely had to. This made going into extremely dark areas feel like I needed to have a lifetime supply of torches just to get through them. Once again, the game does tell you it's unforgiving and difficult. But for me personally, this sucks the fun out of everything. Even in a game where my character is not supposed to be having a good time, I, as the player, want to be having a good time. The story seems like it could go places, but it was hard for me to push on with the aimless walking, the constant loot juggling and inventory space management, hiding from the darkness at night, balancing my generator and fuel consumption, boarding up my windows, and just trying to have enough supplies to do any of this felt so tedious. It took me forever to learn how to use the saw to cut lumber. The prompt at the saw said to put the lumber in the container to be able to cut it, but there's a chest labeled container right next to the saw, which was locked. So I thought I just couldn't cut lumber yet. I later realized that there were inventory spaces above the prompt, and that was the container. Come on. After figuring that out, I realized that this too was also a source of my precious gas. Another thing to add to the growing list of tedious tasks I have to do just to be able to do the simplest things. And this was basically my loop. I never really got anywhere in the game. I met a couple characters that were pseudo-merchants, and that was really the only progress I felt through the whole experience. I was so busy trying to manage my inventory enough to survive the nights that I never went into the dark and scary forest. The story could go places. It could be amazing. The later parts of the game could absolutely rock my world, but I never once felt compelled to go any farther. So I quit. Visually, this game is absolutely something I thought that I would enjoy, but the gameplay was just not something I wanted to continue to be a part of. I would like to stress that this is 100% a personal experience, and I'm sure that in the comments, someone's gonna roast me and tell me that I was just bad at the game. And that's fair, because I kind of was. But I never felt the need to spend the time to get better. The carrot at the end of the stick felt so far away or non-existent that I just didn't want to chase it. I was so excited for this one, but honestly, I was left utterly disappointed. I know I said this already, but this experience was 100% very personal and is definitely not representative of probably most people who play this game. It just wasn't for me. The game's atmosphere could have actually been something that just made me push through, but I just didn't see a reason to. I'm not somebody who needs their hand held through video games or a quest marker or anything like that to make me know where to go or where to push me. I've definitely played games where none of those things existed, but this one just didn't hit the mark for me. And it's really sad because I love horror games. When I saw screenshots of this game years ago, I thought, yeah, that is definitely the game that I want to play. It's this cool little top-down game where the flashlight is the only way that you can see, and I just envisioned all of the scary, intense, crazy moments that could possibly happen, and I just didn't get any of those. What I got was Escape from Tarkov, a lot of inventory management, and pain. I'm not saying don't play the game, I'm just saying that if you do decide to play the game, do so with all of the things that I just said in mind. And with that, see you guys on the next one.